Right. Let's focus for a minute, please, everyone. So last week, we looked at moving averages for smoothing out the seasonal data. All right? We've got peaks and troughs, peaks and troughs, peaks and troughs. So what I've done last week was I show you the period, look at the sales, and we talk about the moving averages. We go from seasonal data to the smooth data using the moving averages. Now, what we've done is last week, we looked at period of 3, period of 5, or period of 7. So we did look at just odd number period in a season. So now what we're going to look at, we're looking at even number of seasons in a cycle. We're going to use a centered moving average to smooth the time series. It's basically the same principle as moving averages. However, there's just one extra step, that's all. So for today, I want you all to be able to understand what a centered moving average is and then be able to calculate the centered moving average. So this is what we looked at last week. Now, of course, we need to know how to work out the number of seasons, correct? A number of seasons. So in this case, for example, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. In this situation, you've got 4 seasons, correct? And it's basically broken into quarters. Each quarter is a year. So quarter 1, quarter 2, 3, and 4. Quarter 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So this could be the first quarter 2020, second quarter 2021, and so on and so forth. All right. Read the question carefully and make sure that you know what sort of time, what sort of actual time period it is, the date or the season. We are looking at putting at numbers because eventually we are using these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, those numbers to do the regression analysis. All right, we're going back to doing some regression analysis using a calculator. So here, what I've done is work out the quarters. You've got all the data, you don't have to write it down. What the periods is, the sales, and also what I want to think about is calculating the 4 moving averages. All right? Rather than 3-point moving averages, this is 4-point. So what we're going to do is, if it is 4 MA, we need to use 4 of that, add all of them up and divide it by 4. Correct? And put it right in the middle. So in this case, where's the middle? It's actually 2.5. Correct? And if I go to the next one, it will be 3.5. Is that correct? Yeah? Is that right in the middle of the seasons, the 4 seasons? Yeah? Yeah? Do you agree? And then 4.5 and 5.5. All right, so now let's try it. I'll give you a few minutes to work out a few. Determine the average of the first 4 data points, 1 to 4. And then write the values between 2 and 3, which is 2.5. Work out some of the information, please. At least 2 or 3 points. Then I'm going to show you my data and show you the plot. And we're going to discuss why we got to work on centered moving average rather than moving average. So I'll give you a couple of minutes to do that. So last week when we looked at odd number seasons, it's pretty much you could align the moving average with the seasons. All right, I just want you to do 1 or 2 so that you know that you're supposed to put it on in the second column. So here I have given you something just to indicate. All right, have a look at what I've done there. Use the second table. Just do the first two, and that's it. Have you all done the first two? No, not yet. Okay, that's fine. Do the first two, that will be it. I don't want you to do any more. Because although we can work out the moving averages for an even number, however, it is not very useful. Alright, so this is what I've done, calculating the 4-point moving average. Now, if you think about this, because we are looking at period 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, 6.5, 7.5, just watch the graph that I plotted. It is actually not very useful at all. If we use this line to come up with the regression, are we going to predict something which is right in the middle? Not really. We want to predict in the future something which is right on the quarter. So we might want to predict quarter 13, quarter 14, quarter 15, quarter 16. So we are not going to predict 13 and a half or 12 and a half, 13 and a half, 14 and a half. Alright? So to overcome this situation, we need to calculate what we call the centered moving average, which is applied to all seasonal time series data which has even number of seasons. So we are talking about centered moving average. What we want is to move this to average right to that point, that point, that point. Alright? Right in line with all our data so that we can do a bit of prediction. Let's have a look at how we do that. So we can calculate the 4 centered moving average by taking half of the first number and half of the fifth number. Alright? Half of the first, half of the fifth number, then add all this up and divide by 4. That will give you 7.30125, which is right in the middle. Now is 3. We want it to align with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, for 4-point centered moving average, you actually use 5 points, the first 5 points. But what you want to do is take half of the first one, half of the second one, half of the first one and half of the last one, and then add all the others up and divide it by 4. Or if you like, you can work out all the 4-point moving average and take the average of 2. Keep it in the middle. However, I think that is a better method. So you've got period 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. That will coincide with the period we use, and it's a lot more useful. Alright? So I would like all of you to see if you could work out these 3 numbers, whether it's the same as mine. Use your calculator. If you're looking at the first 5 numbers, half of the first, half of the last. Then add 2, 3, and 4 together, and then divide by 4. So basically, you're taking half a period of that, half a period of that. Which means it's all up, you're still using 4 periods, and you're still finding the center. You can either use method 1 or method 2. I prefer this, rather than taking another step, working out 4-point moving average and then the center moving average. This is preferable. Alright, work out the first 3 numbers. Did you get the same thing as me? Yeah? So you should be able to work out the 4-point moving average. So if you ignore this one completely, 5 of these, period 1 to period 5, will give you 3. Period 2 to period 6 will give you 4, and so on and so forth. Alright, so the 4-point moving average for period 4 will be half of 2, half of 6, plus 3, 4, and 5, divided by 4. Alright? So if it is a 6 points moving average, you will go period 1 and period 7, half of that, and then add 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and divided by 6. Alright? Just remember, if it is 4 seasons divided by 4, 6 seasons divided by 6. Alright? I don't think I've seen any question that goes up to 8 seasons. That's a lot of calculation. Probably 6 seasons is the maximum that I've seen. But be prepared. Now, so once we've done that, when you plot the 4-point centered moving average, you can see that all of the points coincide with the periods, right? So that will make perfect sense for us to actually feed a regression line in, which I'll talk about on most likely Thursday. Depends on how we go tomorrow. And we will have a regression line where we can predict the future. So I will talk to you a little bit more about prediction when we come to it. Alright? So, calculating the center moving average. Determine the first CMA, center moving average, by using the first 5 points. Half of first, half of fifth, plus second, third, and fourth divided by 4. And place the CMA in point number 3. Repeat the process until the data is exhausted. So you can see that with an even number of seasons, there will be, if it is 4, there will be first 2 periods that will be missing. Alright, when you calculate the CMA. Let's go back to have a look at the graph. So the first 2, period 1 and period 2 will be missing. Alright, now for this one, I've given you something in between because I want to illustrate 2.5, 3.5, and 4.5. I'm pretty sure in the exam or in the practice question that you get, you will not have that column. You will go straight to 4 CMA or 6 CMA. Alright, now same thing as the moving averages. So I've done the summary of 3, 5, 7 and 4, 6 moving averages. Just a summary. 3-point moving average, you add up 3 periods of data and divide by 3. First and last row of moving average will be empty. 5 points, add up 5 points of data and divide it by 5. First 2 rows and last 2 rows of moving average will be empty. 7 point, add up 7 periods of data and divide by 7. First 3 rows and the last 3 rows of moving average will be empty. For 4 points, half the first period, add the next 3 and half the last period of the data and divide the total by 4. Although you're using the data point, but the first and the last one you're only using half. Therefore divide by 4. First 2 rows and last 2 rows will be missing. 6 point, half the first, add the next 5 and half the last period of data. Divide the total by 5. First 3 and last 3 will be missing. Alright? So basically, it's the same as moving average, but you are using half of the first one and half of the last one. That's all. Alright? Yep.
Why do you divide the total by 5 with a 6-point moving average?
Divide by 6, sorry, not 4. Thank you for picking that up. Should be divided by 6. It's my type. Oh, actually, it's not typing, it's copy and paste. 6. You can see that everything is copy and paste. I tried to. Thank you very much, Kate. So, if it is 3 divided by 3, 5 divided by 5, 7 divided by 7, 4 divided by 4, 6 divided by 6, not 4. Alright? So, yep.
When you have 4 CMA, isn't it still 4?
Yeah, it is 4. 4 points divided by 4.
But then the 6th one is 5?
6.
Oh, sorry. Alright.
Half the first period, adds the next 5, and then half the last period.
But for the example we did, we divided by 4.
We did 4 points moving average.
Wait, didn't we do 5?
5 points, yeah, we use 5 points.
And you divided by 4?
4, because we use half of the first point, half of the last point.
Okay.
And then add this together. See, if this is half and this is half, it's basically half the season there, half of the season there.
Okay.
Alright?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
Got it? It's just because you need to make sure that all these are aligned up. That's all. You should get. You should have exercise in club for all of you to do.